Warning: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purpose such as a criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All people are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. I reserve my First Amendment rights to express myself. Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome. Let's see, rest in peace. I did put the link in the chat. Let me know if you're having issues so we can work that out real quick. Okay. Just let me know if you're having trouble or whenever you're ready to come up, I'll repost the link again. Okay, guys. So, Mr. Carmelo Anthony's team is doing such a horrible job at making sure Carmelo Anthony's time in jail is a pleasant one, or should I say prison is a pleasant one. They update on Carmelo Anthony. They have set the first date of court, which is in June of 2026. Let's see. Yes, June 2026, time at 9 a.m., and it is going to be a jury trial. This was set on the 9th, back when he had his hearing. So they set the court date again to June of 2026, June 1st, 2026. Just kind of going over what Carmelo Anthony's team has been doing. They've ever since the indigent form or request from Carmelo Anthony to receive to be approved for a court-appointed lawyer, even after raising over $500,000 for legal fees. They recently just requested an additional, basically a lot of money, another $1 million. Basically, they are asking for a total of $1.4 million. Um, for this whole charade. So they're asking for that for legal fees, security fees, as well as transportation fees to and from the court. I already said security fees. All you know, every type of fee that they're being charged, they're charging it to the public. So again, yeah, they're just doing horrible. So we're gonna kind of watch an attorney who, see if I saved it. Sorry, guys. Um, did I save it? Okay, I'll just go to his page because, again, where is he? The lead attorney. Did I pass him? Okay, I'll just go to his page. And he does give quite um, his 2 cents because he even knows that Dominic Alexander is not the person to to be advocating for this family. Okay, sorry. Let me see. Mm, let's see. And it's not letting you do anything. Rest in peace. Oh, there you go.
Did I make it?
I see you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear. Let me raise your volume up just a little bit. Okay, now try say something.
Okay, testing, mic check. I have on a headphone, so I don't know if I should take it off or not.
Okay, you're still a little low. Okay, I think I can hear you now.
I don't have a high voice. You have to put me way up there.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay, we did
so
it.
we are
We got a
good.
collab. I'm sharing on my page, so anybody that comes to my page can click on to your page from here.
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem.
What are we talking about today?
Right now I was just kind of updating on the Carmelo Anthony situation. I know their attorney. He just got set a court date, so he had his little meeting, jury, whatever, on the 9th, and they finally set a court date for June 1st of 2026. So
And
it's
how
almost a,
old is he?
he just turned 18. He was
That's
17 when at the
crazy.
time of the incident, and about 2 weeks later after that is when his birthday was. So he literally just turned 18.
That's a shame.
Yeah,
That is a shame.
it's pretty crazy, and of course, I don't think the parents are handling the situation accordingly. I really think, they shouldn't be I understand he's your son and you're gonna, give him the support he needs, yes, but I don't think to say that he's not wrong for what he did and all this other stuff. I think that's just kind of
No, that's what you call enabling, and that
wrong.
is the reason that behavior like this perpetuates because instead of holding people accountable for their actions, when you give them allowances and excuses, it gives them no reason. There's no reason for them to do the right thing, and there's no reason for people following them to do the right thing because they have no idea of what accountability is. All they know is entitlement and enablement, and it goes all the way back to those participation trophies you were talking about last week.
Mhm. Yep, where everybody needs that instant gratification for everything that they do. But yeah, it's so sad. And then that's not including they do have other children, so I can only imagine how they're handling the situation as far as parent to child. I like, hey, your
That's
brother didn't do anything wrong. I mean, I can only imagine how much more damage they're doing to their other kids than
well, it's like that part, and then also the people that are like Charleston White, the people that want to come out and give them, you know, I don't know what you call it, backup, give you somebody to stand strong for you to make it seem like you have more power than you do in your actions. But what we all, this is a spiritual war that we're all in right now, and everybody being accountable, being authentic, being honest, and like trying to lose that ego. Those are the ways we need to go because these stories like this, they're not going to get. There's going to be more of them. There's not going to be less of them unless we get a handle on this as a
right, right.
community.
Yeah, definitely. And then to teach your kids that it's okay, or the first thing you do is call out for self defense. Um, when you do something wrong, like I don't. Again, self defense is self defense when it really is needed. I mean, but I don't think that that should be a defense for every time somebody. just this type of situation. I don't even think they should have the option to use it as a defense. But
They're
again, I'm
one
not.
of those stigmas we're facing now. It's like that, the whole Diddy trial crap, where if you, it's you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Because
Yep.
if you try to do something to help yourself, then you get victim blamed, or you can be punished for trying to do the right thing. And then if you get fed up and do the wrong thing, then nobody sees it your way, and it's just frustrating. Like, I don't know the solution, but I figure something out.
Yeah,
All
we
of
definitely
us.
need to figure out some type of training, or like I said, I think we should go back to the old days where they teach, what is it, parenting classes, or what was it called? They had that live
Home
thing where
economics,
there you
like
go,
that
home
type
home
thing.
ec. Yeah. And I think that's something that they may not have needed it back then because it was a different timing, but I think nowadays, as more younger people are having children, I think that should be put back into the school system. Did you freeze on me, rest rest in peace? Did you freeze on me? Okay. I think she's frozen. While we wait for her to come back, we'll continue to talk about, again, Carmelo Anthony has received. Okay. Welcome back. Um, okay. So while she's working on that, we'll continue. So, and Carmelo Anthony has received his court date for June 1st. Um, that is still a long way, almost a year away, 11 months away. And his family, his supporters, his entire team are not making it easy. His lawyer did make a comment saying that let's see, Anthony. It's only in a trial that a jury would hear the full story, one that includes critical facts and context that the grand jury simply didn't get to hear, Howard said. We expect that when the full story is heard, the prosecution will not be able to rule out the reasonable doubt that Carmelo Anthony may have acted in self defense. Welcome back.
Wi-Fi issues. And I was listening.
It's okay. I kind of figured. Um, that's technology for you. But I was just kind of going over what the lawyer was talking about, Carmelo, saying that once the full story comes out, the prosecution would not be able to rule out the reasonable doubt that Carmelo Anthony may have acted in self defense. Of course, the key word is may have. Um, ABC 11 had more on what allegedly happened at the track meet. The witness reported that Anthony allegedly reached inside his bag and said, "Touch me and see what happens." According to the arrest report, Metcalf grabbed Anthony to move him, according to a witness, and Anthony allegedly pulled out what the witness described as a black knife and stabbed Austin once in the chest and then ran away. So, yeah, that's kind of, I think she dropped again. We'll get her back soon. Um, but yes, So they so Carmelo's team still thinks they have a chance. They say they may. So may is not a definite yes, or may is not a definite no, but they're just saying there may. Um, but more than likely, with all the evidence pointing, from the contradicting stories of what's being put out from the police reports to what, Carmelo's team, whether it's Dominic Alexander, the lawyer, now their new recruit, Charleston White. Um, everything that they've said, they haven't really been able to prove, and what they have been able to prove is pretty much the same information of public that is public information, and which is not very much because again they are trying to get Carmelo off off of murder charges. So again, when the campaign stopped, the money stopped rolling in once Carmelo Anthony filed for being an indigent, and was approved to have a court appointed lawyer. Um, of course, people who did support Carmelo and did you know, send donations and things like that, started to question, if we're sending donations, why are you still applying for, financial hardship for a lawyer, blah, 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 blah. Some of them were even requesting refunds. So pretty much their Give Send Go account has been affected. It's still at that 500,000. It was rising every day, thousands of dollars. I mean, we were reviewing it and there were still people sending in hundreds of dollars a day. So it was rising until that point where he was approved for a court appointed lawyer. Pretty much all donations came to a halt. People were furious. So in order for them to continue, they came out with a new campaign. And I am going to go ahead and share the screen so we can look at this campaign together and we can kind of view it together. And again, this is from Sarah Fields. We will be discussing Sarah Fields later on in the. Okay, let's get Rest in Peace up. Sorry. Shared the wrong one. Okay. She's there somewhere. Okay. So we are also going to share the video while Rest in Peace comes back.
Here I am.
Okay. I was like, I'm getting ready to share this campaign video that Carmelo Anthony's team put together. It says a bizarre campaign started by she calls her deranged name. Tiffany Billins is launching a campaign on Saturday called Hey Carmelo. This campaign involves asking people to donate to Carmelo's Give Send Go fundraiser. They have recruited teens and children again for these videos. So, yes, she has kids basically promoting this. I don't know if she had adult authority to have these kids do this, but we'll just continue. This is the same woman who has been doxing people just for commenting on my Facebook post. She attempted to charge Hunter Metcalf's Austin Tripp brother with the crime through a petition. She's the one that created that change.org petition to get Hunter Metcalf charged for being there and trying to save his brother's life, trying to get him charged for the same crime. She has threatened to call CPS. Remember, we did that video and we saw another petition on
Yeah,
change.org trying to get people to call CPS on Miss Sarah Fields, which is totally, ridiculous. You don't need to call CPS for every little thing. That's how the system becomes so corrupt with all these extra kids that don't need to belong in CPS.
absolutely.
Like, yeah,
And then
that
it keeps the kids that need the help from getting the help that they need because of all the flagrant stories that are being told. I was one of the kids that needed help from CPS, but they're flooded. They're flooded.
yeah. I, I even had actually an ex coworker I used to work for. When I quit, they ended up calling CPS on me because I quit.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, that's deranged and crazy, and I don't even know how this person still even has their own like they own a medical billing company. And yeah, I'm like, how are you going to call somebody that because they don't want to work with you anymore or work for you anymore? You're going to call CPS on them. But trying to use the fact that, oh, we don't know where she's at. Hello, I told you I'm not coming in. I'm not coming back. What part of
And
like
then
you do
you're
not
gonna
know
call
where I'm at? You don't
CPS
need to
about
know where
that.
I'm at. I told you I'm not coming back. I'm an adult. I don't need to work for you. But it was a
Yeah,
whole lot too.
that's taking it way too far.
And that's a
People
big
should
problem because
stop
I
punishing kids.
yeah. And that's what they don't understand. Like, what would happen if like my kids really got taken away and then something happened to my kid? Like I don't even know if they would even care. Like, honestly, but anyway.
Of course they would care.
So
Stop it. spoken like the mother of multiples. Like they wouldn't even notice I was gone. As long as the laundry got done somehow and dinner got made. No, they definitely would. They definitely would care.
but I'm gonna go ahead and play this little campaign that she put together, and we'll see if I don't think she should have put babies or kids in it, but we'll
For
see.
Karmelo, you're going to say something like on this campaign, I support Karmelo. Bullying is wrong. Self-defense is not a crime. We support you. Things like that. So. I'm 16. I support Karmelo. Hey, Karmelo! Are you good luck? Keep your head up. No. I'm just saying like this. Stop bullying. I support you. Okay, so that's kind of like what the videos are going to look like when we do the campaign. It's going to kick.
So yeah, so she has these little kids saying, "We love you, Karmelo," and supposedly stop bullying Karmelo. And it's like, who is bullying Karmelo? Like, I haven't heard any stories of anybody bullying Karmelo as much as Karmelo's side has been going after the Metcalf family. I mean, the Metcalf family, the mom and the dad have already been swatted like 4 or 5 times, like swatting. Like you are basically wishing death upon these people. I don't know if anybody ever has been swatted before or would like to be swatted. It's not the prettiest thing. It's worse than the
No, that's
movies.
when the police come to your house expecting you to be armed, dangerous, and off of your rocker, and they're coming to neutralize the situation. They're not coming to help anybody. They're not coming to rescue anybody. They're coming to neutralize the situation.
Right. So that means there's people out there making phone calls, fake phone calls to these people and having these telling them, whatever obscene things that they want to and having these, this team go out there with force. So can you imagine if you're not, most criminals who are criminals, they're aware that, people are looking for them. you know, they may get swatted at any time. That stuff in that kind of lifestyle will
Yeah,
happen
kind
and
of
they're
comes
prepared for
with
that.
the territory.
Right. But for somebody who's just going about their day and having, getting home from work or whatever, preparing for the next day, and has sitting down watching Wheel of Fortune at nighttime, and then you have something like that happens, you're gonna be freaked out. I know. I will probably be like, what? I'll probably be the first one to ask questions before doing what they say. Be like, what the fuck are you doing here? And get down on the ground. Like, no, what are you doing here? And then bam, I'm gonna get shot because I'm refusing their orders.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
because you don't understand. I wouldn't understand, so I wouldn't listen. I would completely
exactly.
be like, explain to me why you want me to do what you're telling me to do, and then I can decide whether or not I want to do it. But I don't have any sense in situations like that. I'm gonna run towards the danger and try to make sure everybody else is okay. So yeah, no, that's a very dangerous game to play.
Yeah.
And now I am not. Um, I'm not. I don't keep up with all the current events um, because I have my own little pain cycle that I live in. So, can you just, for the people in the back, for the people on my channel that might be watching this and haven't seen anything on your channel, can you tell me the story from the beginning? I'm going to just paraphrase real quick just to give an example. Somebody was being bullied and they decided that they were going to retaliate with a gun. That's kind of where I'm at with the situation. Can you talk to me like I'm 7?
No, they weren't killed with a gun. They were killed with a knife. Um, they were stabbed. So what happened was, it was at a district school event, track meet, and Carmelo, um, the I guess the defense, Carmelo, um, I guess I don't even know what to call him now, the murderer, because he
Call a
confessed
defendant. Let's
defendant.
call a
Okay,
defendant.
Carmelo, the defendant, he was underneath another school's tent, and because it was raining, it was raining that day, so he all the schools had their little tents up to stay out from the rain, and he was
And
under
we're
the
at a
wrong
track
school.
meet,
Yes,
correct?
yes, and one of the boys told him like, "Hey, this isn't your school's tent. This is not where you belong. You need to go." Carmelo then said, "I'm not going anywhere." Who like basically there was a little back and forth communication, like I'm not going anywhere, and things like that. So of course, Metcalf, the victim, was like, you need to go. You're not allowed here. I'll basically like, I'm pretty sure he probably say, well, move or I'll make you kind of thing. I'm paraphrasing here, but again, Carmelo was like, the defendant was like, no, I'm not going anywhere. And if you touch me, see what happens. Touch me, see what happens. Touch me, see what happens, kind of thing. So, of course, Austin Metcalf grabbed his Carmelo's bag to escort, basically to move him away. And Carmelo reached in his bag, took out a knife, and stabbed him, and then ran off. That Austin Metcalf pretty much died there in his brother's arms because he was a twin. So he
A
just
twin?
yes, he was a twin.
Oh my gosh. This is why I try, this is why I don't keep up with all these stories. That is
Yeah.
just heartbreaking. That's horrible. It's just horrible on all sides. On all sides. And where were the adults that were supposed to be taking care of, making sure that the children were good? Where are the adults in the situation? Because this
I,
shouldn't have been something, I don't think, that was just between two students.
right. And from my knowledge, there wasn't much of that's what I'm saying. I think it was more verbal, like, hey, you gotta go, you gotta go, no, I won't. And boom, it was from what the
Real
video
quick.
shows and and there were teachers around. There's over 30 something witnesses according to the
Oh
police
my
report,
gosh.
from coaches, teachers, and things like that, along with other
Oh my
students.
goodness.
So there's a
Yeah,
lot,
I've
but
got PTSD. I can't even imagine the tragedy. And I know I'm a latecomer to this story, but I can't even imagine how much pain is in that one small community. That is just
yes,
awful. Oh,
and
that's
that
awful for everybody, even for Carmelo Anthony. Like I see all the arguments. I see how it was self-defense in one way. I see how it was territorial. This isn't where you're supposed to be. Please move. Type the other way. I can see how the adults, the teachers, and the bystanders didn't know anything was going on as fast as it was going on, as serious it was going on. I can see the brother just watching without being able to stop anything from how. Like, wow, yeah, this is just
right.
bad. Yeah,
So and then so now the question is like, was Carmelo really in self defense? Was he really wrong? Um, Although nowadays with as many shootings in the schools and stuff like that, I wouldn't even take it lightly that, maybe when he said, touch me, what happens, Austin jumped into gear and took more of you know, a different approach. Like, okay, well, this could be a shooting kind of situation. What do you have in your bag, like that you will pull out? Like,
that
what's the
part,
actual harm
that
there?
part right there. That's what I was thinking.
Because nowadays, I mean, anything could have been in that bag, you know. But
Yeah.
and that's another issue, like, that's come up, like, if he wouldn't have taken the knife to school. Hey, Rainbow, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi,
Um,
Rainbow.
But yeah, if he wouldn't have initially taken the knife to school, if he would have followed school rules, the district rules, and stuff like that, it would have just probably ended up in a little fist fight. If anything, the most, And like I
Right.
said, and then if it would have ended up in a fight, then you would have seen a crowd. I know we've all been in school, high school. At one point, there was a fight in school
Fight,
where
fight,
you
fight,
ready?
fight,
Yes,
fight.
everybody's gathering around, ready, and you see teachers running down. Like, that's the kind of thing. But according to, again, going by based on what the news were reporting on the video that was sort of released to the public. I mean, um there was really no altercation, like major altercation that they could see before that happened. When, that whole situation happened. So they said it happened really quick once it went from boom, boom, boom. And so it's like, that's where it's going to lead the
And so
question was,
the argument would be, if it's self-defense,
right,
then what happened before the knife was used to predicate that amount of force to protect yourself with, I
right.
guess would be the
But
question.
well, that would be the thing too. Like if we're going by that, like in order for it to be self-defense, you have to be in, you know, your life has to
Danger.
be yes, in danger with the same amount of force as you're gonna put it towards them. So that's the whole thing. Like
Yeah,
Austin Metcalf didn't have no weapon. Austin Metcalf didn't have nothing. Like what amount of threat just because he grabbed your bag? Just because
I'm
he
very,
may have,
very glad
if
I'm
anything,
not
the
the
most
judge on
pushed you, I would think the most would be
Yeah,
the push. But even at that, if he would have
that's
pushed him hard enough with
simple
all the people
assault.
there,
That's not assault with any kind of deadly force,
right?
weapon, or intent. That's rough. Like, I can't
Yep.
even imagine being the judge in this case. And
Well, I know they had to
it's
replace the judge once because she was getting threats as well. So they replaced the judge with another judge. I think he's a veteran, a Marine vet, but
as
who
a
knows?
mother of children that are still school age, um, crap. Keep talking. I'll remember what I was going to say.
But yeah, and that's why I understood what Charleston White was saying. When if you're being bullied, because that's what then they came out with the story is, oh, they were bullying him, but at the same time they were saying they didn't know each other. So it's like if they didn't know each other, how can they be bullied? How can they bullied each other at the same time? How did Carmelo Anthony was always bullied by these kids if they didn't know each other?
Um, I remember what I was going to ask you. As a mother of school age children, I've been seeing a lot of, well, you're the mother, I'm not, but I've been seeing a lot of TikTok videos from teachers, and the teachers are talking about how school is basically rehab, cold turkey rehab during the daytime for these students because of the dopamine levels that they're kept on with all their TikToks and videos and shorts with a little bit of attention span for a lot of enjoyment. Do you think that dopamine withdrawal has a lot to do with something that like this that would happen? You see what I'm trying to say? I don't
It,
know how to
m-
explain this.
it might because that's what dopamine is. It's supposed to
Do you
make you
think the
happy
kids
and
are
not
more
supposed to.
angry, more volatile, I guess is what I'm trying to say, being
I
off of
mean,
their
and
meds, their
right, right. Because technically, if you would think about it, most people say, technology is a form of a drug. You get addicted to it, the games and the things like that. And I mean, I can see what they're saying. Yes, because when they're at school all day, they may not be on those type of things all day. So it could be like a little
That's what I
withdrawal,
heard.
especially for kids.
The teachers are saying that like they can't get people to pay attention to them. Like they're not in 30-second little teacher bites. You know what I mean? So they're having a lot of problems just having humans in their classrooms because it's like a little bit overrun because this is the only time in the people in the kids' lives that they're not like everybody's not like you. Everybody doesn't have tablet time. Everybody doesn't have reward systems and accountability. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people that are always on their phone, always on their tablet, always getting what they want when they want it immediately. So I feel like it would be really easy for that to be a contributor, I guess,
Yes.
to I
And
just
yes, it can be really bad. Because I seen it like where kids from the moment they get home from school, they jump on their electronic devices from the moment they wake up. Some of them probably don't even brush their teeth before they get on their devices, and most I should say most some of the parents may not be that authoritative to where be like, it's okay, you can do whatever you want. You're going to school anyway. You'll learn at school or whatever, and yeah, it can affect the kids to where they become addicted to these things. And when they're at school, they don't get it. And it can affect their dopamine levels because that's exactly what dopamine is supposed to make you happy, not make you fight, not make you angry. Not you're supposed to be the opposite. So
right.
it can be. But I think that starts mostly in the household and with the parents.
Yeah, for sure. That's why they say it takes a village to raise a child because every little tiny thing is a contributing factor. Just
Yeah,
every little thing.
most deaf.
Did you find anything else out about Charleston White?
Yes, we'll be getting into that because yeah,
Oh,
he
okay.
goes after Sarah, and now that I'm doing a little digging on Sarah, it's kind of sad. Like now I know more about her story and where her background, and so some of the things that he said was very disturbing in my eyes.
And is
So
Sarah a
and it's so
parent?
sad. I'm sorry.
Is Sarah a parent?
Sarah is also a parent. Yes. She was also former military. She currently holds, I think, one of the seats in her districts, kind of thing. So she got into the police. She got out of the military. Things happened to her and her family personally. So she got into like working the politics sides and stuff. Trying to make a difference. Like we are all doing here. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
but again, I follow her X channel because she puts out, like I said, she states she's a FOA queen, so she goes and she gets all the public records, public inform anything that's out for the public that has to do with anything. She'll go out and request that information and put it, for us to be aware. And I think that's kind of the issue that the other team is having. Instead of trying to keep everything hush hush, let's go to court, we don't want to make a big deal about it. She's basically putting all the public information out there. I mean,
Good. People need to do
and she's
that
doing it the
though.
right way, so we can't she's legally doing the right way. She's spending her money, going down there, doing request after request after request, waiting for her paperwork to come in. So I mean, technically we really can't say anything whether she's right or wrong because she's doing everything she's supposed to do correctly and legally.
Okay. Now I'm up to speed. I feel like now.
I'm sorry.
I said I feel like I'm up to speed now.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So you're kind of pretty much caught up to where we're gonna get into this. She kind of tells her background and some of the text messages that were going back and forth between her and the family, like and things like that. So
Okay.
it's pretty interesting. I'm gonna share this because she just came out, I believe, back on 2 or 3 days ago, asking for help for a lawyer. For she wanted a lawyer because of some of the things that Charleston White has said and done, and things like that. So it just says Sarah Fields plays victim. This is that Tiffany Billings chick. She kind of responds, but this is Sarah's original post. Says, "I am looking for an attorney. Defamation has consequences, and if I need to crowdsource for the funds, I will." Charleston White posted this an hour ago. It's a 100K view and counting. The entire video spews lies about the Metcalf family and Austin. He mentioned my name at least 100 times. He fantasized about white people dying. That's the comment I was telling you about. Saying he wanted to watch white people get shot in real life. He called her a myth. I guess I already said mentor, told everyone I was on drugs and said my information is coming from someone from the inside. I can't even repeat everything he said without going against TOS on the platform. It's bad. I want an attorney and discovery will be revealing. He placed a target on me, my unborn child, because she is currently
Oh,
pregnant. She is currently pregnant
oh,
on top of that. And my family. I'm not going to stop reporting, but I'm also not going to sit here and continue to allow this libel to be spewed about me when violent people are clearly involved. If they can't silence me, they will use incitement to get what they want. They know what they're doing. How much were you paid, Charleston? Full link to the video is down below. Okay. So yeah, and that's what I'm saying. She's also pregnant and they're continuously going after her on top of all that. It's like she's not being stressed out because she's reporting this stuff. She's being stressed out because you're going after her for reporting this stuff. And then
yeah.
they have the right to comment saying, well, and then they go out and they make horrific comments about her and her kids. And that's why, again, if I did the background history on her, so I knew what they were talking about. Well, apparently like I said, she was in the military. She married the wrong man. They were abused, her and her kids and stuff like that. She was fighting for custody, and the abuse kept going on because obviously the judge kept letting him have visitation rights and things like that. And so now they're coming back with comments saying, well, if you were this, maybe your daughter wouldn't have happened to your daughter. And this one had like they're doing some low, nasty, dirty things. Like, why would you
Us
say that?
women, we just need protection. We need somebody to stand up for us because, man. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm ready for the next. You said the video.
Yes, I am gonna go and let me see, where did I have it? I'm gonna go to my saved. I was gonna play the lead attorney. Well, you know what? Let me go ahead and play the lead attorney because the lead attorney, I don't know. I wonder if he's local, but he puts his 2 cents on what the family is doing wrong and why they shouldn't do it because they're actually if they're actually making things hard for Karmelo when he goes to prison because there's already prison gangs that are calling him out.
Oh. And
And
the baby just turned 18.
mm-hmm. And they're going and their family, apparently Carmelo's family just keeps on doing what they're doing. Yes, Rainbow. Wow, we're gonna get into it, Rainbow. We are.
Hey,
Yes,
Rainbow. I can't see the comments, so I'm just
for Sarah. So I'm gonna see if I can pass. We're gonna get into Dominic Alexander. Hold on. Okay, can you see the video now? Okay.
Yeah.
Anthony's family has actually costed Karmelo extra years in prison. So many extra years. You wanted me to expound on that further because you had not heard anyone make that point. Well, that's why I'm here. I'm giving you the perspective not of a YouTuber reacting to news, but of an attorney who's practiced for more than 20 years. This is behind the scenes info, so let's get to it. Now, let me explain on how Karmelo's mother basically sentenced her own son Karmelo to an extra 10 to 30 more years in prison and what she can do about it now to try to fix it. I explained in my last video that Karmelo's mother apparently hired a family spokesperson, one Dominique Alexander. This Dominique calls himself a minister of justice, whatever that is. Dominique is a convicted felon. He's alleged to have beaten his girlfriend girlfriend. Then he got a new girlfriend. And when that girlfriend left out of the apartment, the good minister grabbed that woman's 2-year-old baby and shook him until that baby got brain damage. The good minister pled guilty in that case to felony charges and was in prison. Now, this is the man that Karmelo's mom chose to speak on Karmelo and the family's behalf. The good baby shaking minister. The minister did exactly what you would expect a convicted felon to do when handling Karmelo's case. He absolutely destroyed it. How? He ostracized the most important person in Karmelo's case. Now, who is that? Is that the judge? No. Is that the prosecutor? No. The most important person alive in Karmelo's case is actually Jeff Metcalf, the father of the young man that Karmelo Anthony killed, Austin Metcalf. The father, Jeff Metcalf, is the linchpin to Karmelo's entire future. Let me tell you that in a murder case where the victim is gone, the case lives on through the victim's next of kin. When a parent has to bury his child, everyone looks to that parent to gauge how to react. Judges
So yeah, even the attorney knows Dominic Alexander wasn't the best person to be speaking for your son. And so when this is the same information that Sarah was putting out, and of course Dominic Alexander went after her, and then slowly that's when I guess people started catching on about Dominic Alexander. Dominic Alexander kind of like slowly but surely pulling himself out of the spotlight from this case, and this is when Charleston White jumps in. So again, I'm waiting for him to do an updated video on Charleston White because this is crazy. So we're going to go into the video with Sarah Fields. So she kind of discusses what happens to her, and this is the stuff that they use against her as well. Let me go to my videos. It's right here. We'll watch the first like 15 minutes of it, so y'all get an idea of where she's coming from as her view on this case, and a lot of things that they said they got from this video. So they didn't really do much research, but anyway, we'll continue. Again, she kind of gives a background of herself, and this kind of makes the claims of what Drew and Dominique and Charleston White says about her even more damaging.
Y'all. But I think that it is high time in the state of Texas to stop giving leniencies to those who would harm the most innocent. And I think it's time to talk about it. Hello, everybody. This is a different kind of podcast tonight. This is different because I don't have a teleprompter in front of me. I don't have my script already written up for me. This is just me talking to the camera, talking straight to Texans tonight. And if anyone else is listening, I hope that this maybe this goes national. Who knows? But this is me being very raw and straightforward to you in the state of Texas, and this is me fighting for something that is incredibly important to me. And tonight, I am going to share a little bit of my story, which I think a lot of you already know because of everything that's happened with the Harry J. Sisson debacle. So I think a lot of you already know about my story, but I'm going to share a little bit more tonight. And I keep saying tonight because I am unable to sleep tonight. And I have been debating when I'm going to share this with all of you. This is the 5th episode of my podcast. And it's definitely going to be straight from the heart tonight. So I hope you'll give me a little bit of your time. So I am a precinct chair for my precinct 30. in the state of Texas, in Smith County. I'm also a delegate, and I plan on seeing what I want to do all the way to the end. And I hope you're with me. I hope I get your support. I hope that legislators and activists alike hear what I'm about to say. So I was in the military. I was in the Army. When I got out of the Army, I married a Marine. And yes, I was warned that I shouldn't be marrying, I was in the Army and Marines don't mix, whatever, This is no dig on the Marines whatsoever. But I was told, no, you shouldn't do that. And I did it anyway. I did it because I cared about this man. I loved this man. I was young. I was dumb. And
Okay, just people who don't know, Marines are trained to kill. That is their job. They're trained to kill. They do extra. If you didn't know this, here it is. Every section of the military has their own length of training. Marines have extra weeks of training just to bring them back to real life, to Earth, because they're so drilled that everybody is an enemy. So they are trained to kill. Period. That's what that part of the military branch is for. But anyway, we'll continue. Just wanted to give you that little foresight.
Good insight.
I thought that this was going to be my future. At the time, I had a little girl. I was a single mother of a little girl named Jasmine. She was only a couple years old, actually a few years old, when we got married. It didn't last very long. We were married for a couple of years, and he was very abusive towards me. He was verbally, mentally, and physically abusive towards me. I will never forget the night that he told me that if I ever tried to leave him, that he would take my children away from me. That was his biggest threat. I'm going to take your children away from you if you ever try to leave. And he was out of the Marines, but he was a police officer. And it was me just being a stay-at-home wife at the time. I believed him. So I stayed with him probably a lot longer than I should have. And what's sad is at the time, I would deal with his abuse. I would deal with his verbal, physical, and mental abuse on a constant basis because I was a broken woman and I thought I didn't deserve any better. I thought I couldn't get any better. And so I stayed with him for a while. But as a mother, I began to see how he was treating my daughter and my son, because we had a son together, and he was cruel to them. He was never around, but when he was around, he would yell, he would flick them with his finger, he just did cruel things, unneeded things, especially when it came to my daughter. My daughter's name is Jasmine. She has pituitary dwarfism, or growth hormone deficiency. She's very, very small for her age. She's been that way since she was born. And she's my little fireball, and I love her to death. We got divorced in 2012, I want to say. 2011, 2012. My son was about 2 years old, and Jasmine was 7. And when I finally decided to separate from him, it wasn't me just leaving him. It was my friends who rallied behind me and was like, no, we're going to get you out of this situation because it wasn't good for us. And I appreciate everything that my friends did at the time. But as many of you know, and you can go back into my prior X posts, and you can go my Twitter posts, whatever you want to call it, and see just how horrible of a situation it was. But I literally had to fight for my children because, like he said, he was going to take my children away. He tried to. He desperately tried to take my children away. And I didn't understand why he wanted my daughter so bad. Like, I understood my son because that was his biological child, but he was fighting for the both of them. And when we were married, he never attempted to adopt her or even treat her well. It was just odd to me that he wanted her so bad. And I was like, this is strange. You've never cared about her during the time that we were married. And so it was just weird that he was fighting so hard in court to take my children away from me. He almost succeeded because he smeared me. He tried to make me look like a bad mother. He tried to make me look like I was an abuser, like I was a drug addict, which I haven't. To be perfectly transparent, I have not touched drugs since I was a teenager. And since prior to me being in the military. And he insisted that I was a drug user, that I needed to be tested for drugs and alcohol and everything else. And he almost succeeded in taking my children away. However, during that time, I did win custody of my children. I actually ended up with full custody of my children. So let's fast forward a few years. He was a police officer working in this area in East Texas. And he had weekend custody. So for whatever reason, the judge granted my ex-husband custody of both children for weekends. And even though Jasmine was not his biological child, she was included in that custody agreement, which I ended up agreeing to because it was the only way. It was literally the only way I could get custody of my kids. That's what I was told in a back room with a whole bunch of attorneys telling me, if you don't accept this, then you're going to lose your kids. But it finally got to the point during our custody agreement, after we had been divorced for a while, that I was hearing outcries from mostly Jasmine that he was being very abusive and that he was neglectful and that he was drinking heavily, and that and these were outcries from my children. So I decided that I wasn't going to let him see them anymore, and they could drag me away. They could take me away in handcuffs if they wanted to, but I was not going to let my children go be with him anymore. I knew who he was. I knew what kind of person he was. I didn't care that he was a police officer. I didn't care that if he was prior Marine. I didn't care. I had seen and heard with my own eyes what kind of person he was. Multiple times he would show up to get his weekend with the children, and I told him, no, you can call the police, you can have me arrested. It's not going to happen because I'm hearing outcries from my children. I would much rather go to court and provide witness statements of those who have also heard what my children have had to say. And he would always call the police on me, and the police would show up every single time, and they would always say, this can be handled in court. There's nothing we can do. And so I dealt with that for a while until after a while, he kind of gave up and he didn't fight to see them any longer. Fast forward a few years down the line, my daughter was dealing with so many things as she entered into teenhood. I could tell that something was wrong, but I didn't know what it was. I could tell that she had been through some trauma, but I didn't know what it was at the time. You have to understand, this was before I got involved in politics. This was before I understood everything that happens to someone who has been abused in the way that she was. And I was just trying to do right by my child. She had issues with wanting to speak with strangers online, wanting to meet up with people she had never met before. I had to remove her phone from her. I eventually had to remove the internet because she was going onto sites that were unsafe for her. She had a very Jasmine longed for male attention, and she was looking for it in all the wrong places. And I knew she was, and I tried to protect her from that. And there was a night where she finally came to me and said, "Mom, I need to talk to you." And then she told me all of the horrible things that my ex-husband had done to her. And I'm not going to get into detail, but he had sexually molested her multiple times. Not just while we were married, but during the time that I was fighting for custody, during the time that they were with him while I was fighting for custody of my children. And it was very sick, and it was horrific to hear all the intricate details of what had happened to her. I immediately called the police. I immediately made sure that an investigation got started. At this point, he had been married 3 times. I was his first wife. He had gotten married a second time, had 3 more children, and was on his 3rd wife, and had already had 2 more children. And he was still a police officer. And I called the police. They came and they interviewed my daughter. They sent her case to Special Victims Unit, where she was interviewed again. She was then sent to the Children's Advocacy Center in Smith County, where she had to tell her story again and again and again. CPS was involved. They listened to her story. She had an ad litem that was assigned to her who listened to her story. She had to tell that story over and over and over again. I was then told that they had enough information to charge him with aggravated sexual assault on a minor. When I was told by the special victims investigator that they had enough evidence, I was told that they were going to seek arrest. And then I found out not long after that that he had fled to Mexico and that they were searching for him. We didn't know where he was, but he remained missing. I think it was for over 6 months that he was missing, that they were searching for him. And the crazy thing is that finally, I believe it was, like I said, a little over 6 months later, ICE picked him up because he attempted to take an Uber to a bar in Mexico. And then he was transferred to a jail locally here. And then proceeds started from there. We were told, myself and my daughter were both told, that he was pleading not guilty. He insisted that he was innocent and that he had chosen a trial by jury. And we were told that she was going to be given all the time in the world to prepare, and that they had all the time in the world. The prosecutor told me that she had all the time in the world to prepare for this trial. And we patiently waited. It was very stressful. My daughter, during that time, was in counseling. I placed her into therapy because this had truly affected her mind in a way where she was seeking attention where she shouldn't be seeking attention from. She had addictions, unfortunately, to pornography, and was speaking to men online in ways that it was very disturbing to me. And so she had to be in therapy. She had to be in counseling. This had truly altered her brain in a way that she needed help. Again, we were told that we had at least 6 months plus to be prepared for a trial by jury. And from what I understood, it was a slam dunk. Not only were there statements from my daughter, Jasmine, there were other statements by multiple other women, including women that he had apparently spoken to on cases that he was working on as a police officer, that had outcried and said that he had been inappropriate with them. And we had all these statements. We had everything ready to go. And then one night, I received a phone call from the prosecutor. And the prosecutor told me that somehow my ex-husband, his name is Brian, somehow my ex-husband and his defendant, his public defender, had moved the trial date up, and it was going to be heard in 2 days. 2 days. Yes, you heard me correctly. This trial was to be had in the Wilco judicial system. So this was about 4 hours from where we live. So we would have had to travel up there. The 4 hours of travel more than likely would have had to get a hotel and stay there for however long that trial took. So it would have taken a very long amount of time out of our lives. And she was not prepared in any way. She was still a minor at the time. She was not prepared in any way. She was not prepared for cross-examination. She was not prepared to take the stand and sit in front of a bunch of strangers and have to tell her traumatic, horrific story of what happened to her when she was 6 and 7 years old. This is when this happened to her, when she was 6 and when she was 7 years old. She would have to tell that story again. She would have to be cross-examined by his public defender. She was not prepared for this. And as a mother, I was left with two choices. I was told that either she take the stand in 2 days, or I accept a plea bargain. He was plea bargaining at this point. We could either go to court, go to trial, and he was going to plead not guilty, or he was going to plead guilty and he was going to accept a plea bargain for 15 years and getting out on parole in 9. This seemed incredibly unfair to put on me, to put on my daughter, to put on our whole family. But we were expected to make this decision. In the state of Texas, with what he was being accused of, if he had been convicted, he would have received life in prison. That is the normal sentence in the state of Texas for what he did. That is what is in the books. That is what is law in the state of Texas. Life in prison. For they had him for 2 counts of aggravated sexual assault on my daughter. I spoke with my daughter. She was traumatized by this idea. She was scared. And I asked her, I was like, this isn't fair to put on you, but I'm not going to make this decision without you. So what do you want to do? And she said, I think we should accept the plea bargain. She did not want to take the stand, and I don't blame her at all. I don't blame her for that. I wouldn't want to either. So I called the prosecutor back, and I told him that we accept his plea bargain of 15 years. Parole in 9. My ex-husband is a pedophile. Period. There is absolutely no reason that my daughter should have to deal with the trauma of what he put on her for longer than his sentence is going to be. None. My daughter is going to have to live with what he did to her for the rest of her life. She remembers it down to the very last detail. She told me everything that he did to her. And she's never going to forget it. And now she struggles. She struggles with insecurity. She struggles with not being good enough. She struggles with addictions to porn. She struggles with understanding her value. She struggles with knowing who she is. She struggles with life. Period. And watching what my daughter has gone through and not understanding what happened to her for so long is one of the most horrific things that a parent and a mother can ever imagine. My daughter did not deserve what happened to her. Not in any sense of the word. No.
So I don't think anybody's child deserves that, whether male, female, anything. Yes, that was Sarah Fields explaining her situation. And if you look at the time frame here, this was over a year ago. So this was way before this Carmelo Anthony situation happened. And it's so unfortunate that they are attacking her and her family. They are bringing her daughter's situation into this little fiasco back and forth. We are going to get into the leaked text that Carmelo's Anthony has been sending to Sarah. All the if you want to say that there were threats, and it all depends on your perception of what a threat is or how it makes you feel. Yeah, she really did. And that's what's wrong with the system too, because it's like, why would the judge give this man custody of a child that doesn't is not even biologically his? That was one of the things that I didn't, just because they were married and that wasn't part of the divorce and custody case. I don't know how that, I don't, like, what? Like, what? Yes, Carmelo's dad, yes, was texting and Sarah. Why? Crazy. I think he was more trying to push the buttons to have her react, and when she didn't, because she did. I mean, I'm assuming with her experience in the politics and stuff like that, she didn't respond to a lot of the messages, which obviously enraged Drew Anthony more. So it kind of made the true colors come out, and this is their true. And then this is why um I think this is why Charleston White is getting into it, because now the dad's put on blast. They need Dominic Alexander is obviously not the best person to speak for them. So who else is better to speak for them besides somebody who has thousands and thousands of followers online and things like that? Oh, his dad. Yes. Yes. And this is what I don't understand. If this family has this lawyer, you think they would be advising this family to chill the heck out, advising Dominic Alexander to stay away from the case? What is wrong with this lawyer? This is why I think this lawyer is in for the money as well, because I know this is not his court appointed lawyer. This is the lawyer he had before he was approved for a court appointed lawyer. But even at that, it's it's like, what are you doing to this case? Again, this is why we watch the lead attorney to kind of see what he would have done. There's a lot of things that he would have done different to make sure Carmelo Anthony would have been safe in jail. Not the fact that he wasn't going to go to jail, because he even says there's just he doesn't think that he will not do time. But when he does the time, you want to make it comfortable for him. You don't want him to be in danger with these other gang members in this prison system. And that's exactly what it is. She is not involved. She's just reporting the facts. Like, I mean, that's all she is. She's just requesting this documents. Again, we all can request these documents. She just has the ability that obviously financially ability than what I do to get these records. You know, she obviously has the time to put into this stuff, but this does not make her a bad person. This just makes her the correct person to do this type of stuff. That's because everybody wants to blame. Nobody wants to take accountability. They are still trying to save their son. They're thinking they're saving their son. But are they really? Are they really? So now that we already know, she kind of explained one, her situation with her daughter, the CPS cases, the drug issue, prior drug, usage before prior to the military. She even states she's, you know, part of the system in District 30, a chairholder in District 30. So this video gave us a lot of information in insight into who Sarah Fields is, correct? Correct. So this is, I think, the same video that Charleston White watched, because a lot of the things that he said in that last video we covered was exactly this type of event. Well, she's a chair, la, 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 in the district, la, 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 and la, 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 and pulled police records. See, Sarah, I can do just what you do, kind of thing. But he gets really low into it. So, and I'm not sure if you watched I know it was a long live, that 4 hour live. It was probably really hard to watch, but literally he did an hour. Charleston White did an hour video on Miss Sarah Fields, on calling her all sorts of names, telling her her child she was the reason why her child went through this. She's still a drug addict. She's this, she's that. And I'm like, you're just getting the information from the horse's mouth and then twisting it, because she was transparent. She didn't say so she never used drugs. She said prior to my military with everybody. I mean, come on, military, you cannot do that stuff while you're in the military. So obviously she cleaned her act up. And that's what a lot of people go into the military for, especially if she was already a single parent prior to entering. That was probably her best choice at the time. So I get it. But to go and say bad things about you, that's why you're what happened to your daughter is the reason why it happened to your daughter, and blah blah blah, and you're such a bad person. That's why whatever happened to your daughter happened. Like, it's just extreme. So let's see. I'm gonna open up the video so we can go into the to the text messages. Let's see. We'll go with Jumpsuit Pablo. AG Tactical, Pablo, they all have this update with the text messages. So I am gonna share this tab instead, and we're just gonna go straight. Oh, this is the same.
Gonna cut in here real quick, update you on that, and then we'll get back to what this video is about. So here, once again, Sarah Fields, always on top of everything, says, update Karmelo Anthony case. Subpoenas for first court appearance. Karmelo will not be present. She received the subpoenas sent by Mike Howard, Karmelo Anthony's current attorney, through an open records request she submitted to the Collin County District Clerk's office. According to the documents, Mike Howard is requesting all disciplinary counseling and school records from Frisco ISD for Karmelo, Austin, and Austin's brother Hunter. Very interesting. They're trying to build their case. They're trying to get dirt. You know, they want to know what the prosecution is going to get as far as all the disciplinary records that are out there available for Karmelo so that they can structure their argument on those. But they also want the records, any disciplinary records for Austin and the brother Hunter, so that they can kind of craft that into their claim of self-defense. All these guys are such bad guys, you know.
Yes, that's exactly what they're going to do. So, of course, let's get into the text messages. Did I pass them? Okay, they're further down. Okay. So, we're going to get into the text messages.
Okay, let's pop one on the screen. Here you see, my son defended his...
So, I'll go ahead and read it. My son defended himself, not himself, but himself. Maybe if you was a parent and your child would have defended their self, she might not have been, you know. I never said anything to anyone about the lies you spread. You the one with the half truths, not us. And then of course she didn't respond, and then he writes, sends her the next message. You scared of Tiffany because Tiffany is that girl that did that that I showed the video of the kids doing their campaigning support Karmelo because they need more money to their fund. So anyway, you scared of Tiffany because she must have had the truth. Laugh. She must have had the truth. Not that she did, or he's just putting stuff out there again to poke the bear. Laugh out loud. Yo, lucky. I don't know her. I'm sorry. I'm going to read it exactly how he wrote it. That's how stupid it sounds. Okay. And then it says, she responds, Tiffany has nothing but an evil agenda. And then it says, because it says, there you go being delusional. Okay, she cut out. It says, my daughter was 6. What the F is wrong with you? And then he writes back, I didn't mean anything by that. I'm sorry. Are you really? Are you really sorry? Are you really sorry for telling her that your child pretty much deserved, or you didn't defend you? If you would have defended her, or whatever, if your child would have defended herself, it wouldn't have happened. Like, she was 6 years old. How the heck is a 6-year-old supposed to defend themselves to an adult who she thought was supposed to be a safety zone for her, because it was at that time a father figure to her? And then you have the nerve to go say, oh, well, if your child would have defended theirself, she might not have been. Like, really? Seriously? How psycho do you got to be? Dude. But yeah, it's like, It's okay. Rest in peace. Whenever you get that, I trust me. I've always had technical issues. You're good. Yes, literally delusional, deranged, crazy, insane. What? Any other words I'm missing here? Yes. Yes. Hey, you're supposed to be in the room, silly. Come here. Give me a hug. No. Oh man. Fight. And so let's see if they play because I know there was about like 4 messages.
Maybe if you was a parent.
Let's see, does he show the other ones? Okay, yeah, he does. So then it goes on.
I didn't mean anything by that. I'm sorry. Yeah, sure you didn't. Then look at no, really, that was
Okay. So then he goes on after he says what he says, and then he's trying to backtrack because he knows what he said was really deranged. So then he states, and it says, no, really, that was just an example. Okay, that didn't make it any better. So now you're using her daughter as an example for what? You're using a little kid as an example. Now, I can understand if you used another case similar to the case, kind of like the one that was that just happened, where again there was I don't know if it was a stabbing or a shooting, but it was over the minor things, and it shouldn't have even escalated that far. And then so it says, like, that was okay. Like, that was okay to say. You still haven't shown me any proof. Like, what proof did she need? Like, what proof is all the information she's putting out there is public records. It's public records. So, what is she really telling lies about? What does she need to show proof about? These are police reports, court documents, school documents. Like, what is she not? I that's where I'm kind of confused. I would like for you to show proof on some of the stuff that you say, but then again, we're not because they're gonna wait to the court date for the trial because that's when all the truths are gonna come out. I don't like, please. And then it says, "I'm sorry. I really didn't mean by that. I didn't mean by that. I don't know what that was supposed to mean." And again, she's not responding, so this is her background probably kicking in like, "Hey, don't respond. Don't gaslight. Don't unless you need to tell him to stop doing something." So then it says, "If you was threatening today, you should put their information out. This is going to 4. If you was threatened today, you should put their information out. This is going too far. I'm really sorry if I upset you." Again, not making any sense. So, is he saying for her to put information out there? Is he telling her not to put more information out there? I don't even know what that sentence is supposed to be explaining, but he's not making sense. And then he says, "Sarah, Sarah, 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 Sarah." You know what that reminds me of? Like, I don't know if y'all watch Hollywood with the Chance of Meatballs, where um she's leaving and he's like, "Sam, Sam, Sam, Sam," and she's literally like, that's what that's, "Sarah, Sarah, Sarah," you know. And then says, "I need you to leave me be. I'm having," let me see if he has the next ones up. I'm trying to read that. Having all the PD because I can't read that last message, but we're gonna go on to the next
So I
message.
can't blame her. I mean, this is getting a little. He's getting a little scary here. He's getting unhinged.
There
Like
you
he
go.
goes
Another
on to
word.
say, Sarah,
Unhinged.
please stop. You're the one.
And then of course he's continuing. As we can see, there's not a lot of responses from Sarah. So what is he keep text messaging her for? And like for what? So then it says, Sarah, please stop. You the one creating a race where with these attacks. Stop. And really, nobody's really brought up anything about race besides the Carmelo Anthony family and their supporters. Says, you pregnant right now and don't need to be worrying about stress. Well, this is not a stressful job unless the people on the other side are making it stressful. Again, I keep receiving all these things about your past, and I'm trying to get people to stop, but your lies keep them going. No answer? If everything is a lie, why are you worried about everyone who telling the truth? Come here, baby. Don't do this no more. This is not cool. This is not cool. Why you keep doing this? And you need to go potty if you're gonna be doing this, silly. Go sit down over there. Go sit down. And then it says, Sarah, please stop. You're the one. Okay, so she just says bump their messages. So I don't know what bump their messages mean. Let's keep going. So yeah, these are crazy. And as you can see, oh, that looks like a long one. Let's keep going.
Dude just lost it.
Oh, here's a long one. This is, by God, a story. You're here yammering about accountability. Do you even comprehend what that term means? I've noticed a ton of your followers bawling that he needs to be held accountable. Newsflash, my son did take accountability. He straight up owned up to it because he said, I'm not alleged, I am the murderer. Like, that's not taking accountability. You still got to do the time for that accountability. Just because you admitted you did something doesn't mean that makes it okay and you did you're taking accountable. Like, what? Okay. He straight up owned up to it. But people like you twist his words around, take things out of context, and start spouting ignorant claiming he's being cocky or something. It's evident who you truly are because why the hell? Let me see where am I? Why the hell are you so obsessed with people who supposedly lack the facts? We've remained silent, only responding to the bullshit lies being spread. But this perfectly showcases your character. You've got electricity running through your veins to lecture me about accountability. But all I see from you is negativity and nothing but. Yep. Yep. He seriously did. He seriously did. He seriously did. And that's the one thing he can't deny that he owned up to because it's literally in the police report saying, I did it. I did it. I'm not alleged. I did it. I'm not alleged. I did it. So he says, I did it. So what in the world is going on? Like, how is that taking accountability? If you're right, he admitted to it, so that means he needs to do the time for it. That's what that message tells me right there. Yes, he admitted to it. He is taking accountability. No, taking accountability is admitting and then doing the time. Or Sorry, I had to do a quick typer change. Okay. So, yeah. So basically, he took accountability. He admitted to doing it. That's not taking accountability. That's just admitting what you did was what you did. Taking accountability is being responsible, doing the time, the consequences, basically making amends, and like that's not taking accountability. Like, do the time, hush. I don't know what you are doing, asking for money and all this stuff, and then going after poor Sarah. It's talking about you pregnant. Then why are you going after a pregnant lady? Like, how psycho does that sound? Like, oh well, you pregnant, you don't need to be stressing, but I'm gonna be here telling you all this math to stress you out because you pregnant. Like, that makes no sense. Like, that is now I know why your son is crazy, deranged, and he reacted the way he did because look at your reactions to this. And I don't see the mom in here talking smack. I just see Dominic Alexander and Drew Anthony are the ones messing, and they're just mad because again, she is reporting the truth and there's no more money coming in. Therefore I wouldn't be surprised if they blown through it. I mean, there's a lot of people saying that they blew through it because they were purchasing this, purchasing that, but that doesn't. I don't have the actual paperwork and facts for that. So, I mean, a lot of that stuff could be on credit, on loans, on stuff. I can't say they actually really spent all that 530, 60, whatever grand that they had. So, again, but still, why are you going to make this matter worse, knowing that your son is guilty for the crime he committed, and knowing that I don't care if it's a year, 5 years, or whatever, he's going to do time with these people in there. I mean, from the Mexican gang, black gangs, white gangs, all the color gangs, yellow gangs, purple gangs that are in prison right now, they're watching, and yeah, payback, payback, payback will be coming soon. Just saying. They better have Carmelo Anthony on some type of watch because things are not going to be good for him when he gets to that high level ranking prison. Right now he's probably sitting in the jail cell. It's different. It's different from being in jail than it is in prison. So just that's where it comes in. And again, don't forget the things that this is where Charleston White got all his information from when he did that horrible video for her. Again, it was an hour-long video telling her the same thing she told us. You are district there. You are a cracker, you probably still are. And you're doing this for this political reason. And you're doing that. And your child, you have CPS on you. And yes, there was CPS was involved, but you're the one who's not telling the whole truth, telling half truths and half lies. Because yes, CPS was involved, but it wasn't her doing something wrong. So you act like she put her children in danger and CPS came in and took them, like she shouldn't have any kind of say of what happens to kids nowadays. Like, no, that's not how the story broke down. And that's why I'm glad that I went back and was able to find that video, because that video was mentioned. I think it was in Jumpsuit Pablo's or AG. I forgot which. It's either AG Tactical, Reckless, or Jumpsuit Pablo. Those are the three that I watch on YouTube in regards to this case. So it was either one of you guys. So, yeah, so I had to go look up that video and really see, because it puts things into perspective on who Sarah is and what what events in her life that they're trying to attack her family for. And then again, to say that about your child, be like, well, if your child defended herself, whatever happened to your child wouldn't have happened. So can you imagine if your child was 6 or 7 years old, was essayed or by a family member or anything like that. And then years later, have somebody go, well, if your child just defended herself, that wouldn't have happened. Like, you would want to slap a hoe. Just saying. You would want us to, yeah, I probably would have punched him in his face if he would have said that in person. It would have caused a big thing. But again, here's the proof where she has no problem showing us the proof of the things that is happening with them, with her, and things like that. My thing is like they're claiming all these things, and it's like, where you want us to show proof, we have the proof. Where is your proof that none of this either didn't happen or did happen. Just like Charleston White, he's claiming that it was a pocket knife. Really, dude? A pocket knife? That's not what's in the police report. Or it would have said pocket knife or utility tool or something, but it just says knife. It says knife. And from my understanding, like the length of it, it was probably one of those paring kitchen knives or something. So, what are you talking about? Again, saying that, um, and then want to lie about, how Austin Metcalf passed away because of fentanyl and drugs in the system. It wasn't due to the stab to the chest was just the beginning of the thing. He's that's not what caused it. It was actually, you know, the drugs in his system and stuff like that. I'm like, no, no. And there is articles out there saying that there is no court. The coroner report is not made public, which is why none of us are speaking on the coroner report. Sarah Fields hasn't done any kind of message on the coroner report. She's not saying how he died was wrong. She's not even talking about Austin's death like that. So I'm sure if there was a coroner's report out there, she would be the first one to get it and be the first one to put it out there. But it's not even public. It's not there's no, like, so where are you getting this information from the false information that was out there that was already claimed to be debunked, that wasn't true, to stop spreading those lies, but y'all still consider spreading those lies when that was already proven to be false, or at least in the meantime, because there is no real actual coroner's report, at least made to the public. Shouldn't say not right now, but at least made to the public. And then another thing was, like, they kept making these Austin boys seem like they're these big, huge, and this Carmelo Anthony's little fragile, little toothpick you could break in half if you just would blow away in the wind, and they would, Carmelo Anthony is not a small dude. He is not as tiny as these people want to make him seem. So, and if you could just look by the picture I have of the thumbnail, that gives you his size right there. And I'm sure he was, maybe that must have been like 2 years ago, give or take. So he probably maybe grew another half an inch or 2 inch, but he's over 6 feet tall. He is over 6 feet tall. He's what, 6'1", 6'2" according to that picture? He is over 6 feet tall. He is not short by all means. So he's got to at least weigh 180 to 200 pounds, maybe, give or take. This is not a small dude. He may have been, as far as you look at Austin, they're almost about the same size in style and build. Not too much bigger. Am I wrong in any way about this? It's not. They're not. He's not too much bigger. Let me get the picture up. Hold on, guys. I'll be back. Okay. Let's see. Share. Where is my share button? Oh, here. I was wondering. I didn't have my thing up. Okay. So, yeah. I mean, look, he is 6'2". He is 6'2". These people are roughly the same size. I'm sure they played the same position, but not only that, do I not have something for you guys? is. Let me see. So with that instead, they're talking about how they were being bullied. He didn't have no place to go. Austin Metcalf was a silverback, and Hunter was the gorilla, and Carmelo was the little baby sheep. Remember that whole story that Charleston White put out there? Like, imagine this if you were in a jungle and you had lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my! And then you had a little baby sheep like Carmelo Anthony. It was big, big. Like, really, really. So I am gonna show you this. Let me see if I can open. And we're going to share this tab. So this is a little video footage that I found of Carmelo Anthony. I put them all together. These are his highlights, his football highlights. His football highlights. Let me see if I can I make it bigger? Let me see if I can make it bigger so y'all can see it. Down here? Okay, there we go. Okay, better. Okay. I'll go ahead and play it now, guys. And his weight is 160 pounds. They show him at 5'11", but still short. So this dude obviously can tackle. He's going after kids his size, if not bigger. Boom. So to say, I mean, and I will play all the videos.
cappella.
I know there's no sound. Some of the videos had sound, some of them didn't. Yeah, you could see right there. Let me pause it real quick. You see right there, he runs. He's height and weight is 5'11" at 160 pounds. So I wasn't too far off on the weight. I said 180 to 200. I was off by 20 pounds. But then again, I was off by 2 inches, 3 inches too. So that makes a big difference. But anyway, he runs the 40-yard dash in under 5 seconds. He has his vertical is 35. He benches 205 and he squats 405 pounds. You mean to tell me somebody that who could bench 205 pounds, who could squat 405 pounds, and of course I didn't open up the bottom, but whatever, couldn't handle himself against Hunter and Austin Metcalf when these videos obviously show that he has more than enough endurance, strength, and ability to have gotten away from them or even to protect himself using just the fist and not a knife if something was really an altercation really happened. So, I mean, this was a cool little thing that he probably could have used for a scout. Like if he was getting picked up by universities and stuff like that, here's a video. Like all these were his little things. These are his best moments within the last year or 2 years of his football career. And you mean to tell me somebody who is 5'11" at 160 pounds who can bench press over 200 and squat over 400 pounds? I'm sure Austin didn't weigh that much. I'm sure Austin probably weighed around the 160 to 180 as well. And I'm sure Hunter probably weighs around the same weight. So to say that these boys were different in sizes, and then he played, I don't know what is an FS and an SS in football. Does anybody know those position names? Because I believe that that's some type of safety. Football. Free safety and strong safety. Both are safety positions on the defensive side of the ball. On top of all that, he plays defense. Now I can understand if he was a quarterback. My wrist. I get it. Quarterbacks are meant to be fragile. But when you're on defense as a free safety, strong safety, as any type of defense, you have the ability to stop people. You have that ability, but they have distinct responsibilities and physical profiles. Free safeties are typically faster and more coverage focused, often acting as the last line of defense against deep passes. Strong safeties are usually bigger and stronger, playing closer to the line of scrimmage and contributing more to run defense and blitzing. So either way, he's in he's in the mix. He's always in the mix. You saw some of those videos. He was in the mix. He was getting hit and he was hitting bigger players than himself. There was one player where they tackled him. He stood straight. He continued to stand straight up and tackled him again, and then ended up tackling. Like, you took a tackle. It didn't affect you. So you mean to tell me that Austin Metcalf was to that extreme size that you felt threatened by him? See, I don't know much about football, but common sense with the numbers and science and math, like, this stuff doesn't add up, guys. This just doesn't. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. And let me see. Oh yeah, let's look at some of these. I guess they liked. I didn't know I had. Okay, I'm sorry. I did a short. I did a clip and I think go to the game. Okay. So under the things, I'm sorry. Let me pause this. It says the knife was changed to at the beginning. They were first claiming it was a cleat sharpener. Remember, what's his name? Dr. Umar was like, it's a tool, it's a track tool, it's a cleat sharpener, it's a whatever. And then now it's a multi tool. Like, yeah, to stay off the drugs. Don't spend the money, you're going to need it. You should be in prison too, Charleston. He says the adults made it racist, but continues to make racists laugh out loud. Wild work. You do realize all the information is public and free, and I hope you brought receipts. See, this is exactly what we all been saying. We all been saying. I didn't realize this clip got that many. So let's just watch the clip that I cut out because this says a lot on how psycho deranged this dude really is. I'm gonna stop sharing that one, guys. Let's go to let's go right here. So this is just a part of that 55-minute to an hour video that he did. And this is the stuff that he claims after talking to Drew, after making all those comments about conflict resolution. All he had to do was tell his parents, and the parents should have told a teacher. You tell an adult if somebody's picking on you, right? We all had it instilled when we were growing up, right? So now he talked to Karmelo's dad, Drew Anthony, and then all of a sudden his appearance changed, and then 55 minutes of diarrhea from the mouth, 55 minutes of him using the word cracker, 55 minutes of pointing the blame at Sarah, 55 minutes of calling her names, 55 minutes. And then he had the nerve to say both of the boys he should have murdered both of the boys. He goes to say this, that Karmelo Anthony should have murdered both of the boys in order for there to be justice. Because apparently while their history made, I I really don't understand the concept and his train of thought, but let me just play the video.
Alive her. I would cause pain, unbearable pain, if you done me like that. Yeah, you done me like that. Yeah. I unalive a white baby. If white people mess with me like they're doing Carmelo, I would go to a daycare and I would unalive the day, all white though. Innocent. I would do what Dylan Roof did. I would find that Frisco church. If white people did me like that, I would throw my life into the river. But I would do it like Dylan Roof did. Yeah, I would do it like Dylan Roof did, but to white people. Went up in my job. I would show up at Jeff's ex-wife house and unalive her. I would cause pain, unbearable pain, if you done me like that. Yeah, you done me like that. Yeah. I unalive a white baby. If white people mess with me like they're doing Carmelo, I would go to a daycare and I would unalive the day, all white though. Innocent. I would do what Dylan Roof did. I would find that Frisco church. If white people did me like that, I would throw my life into the river. But I would do it like Dylan Roof did. Yeah, I would do it like Dylan Roof did, but to white people.
So again, of course, he uses this. He said, and if you listen to the whole 55 minutes throughout the whole thing, he even admits that you will never know if he's telling the truth or not because it's all could be related to an act that he's doing or a skit or satire comedy. But this does not sound like comedy. It is not funny. It is far from being funny. And again, it was 51 minutes, and this is how he starts the video.
I'm looking for, she used to be an ex-meth addict, a 304. Very perverted, freaky, used to be white woman. Now she done kind of got a life.
Okay, so he said meth addict. All she ever admitted was she did drugs prior to the military. She didn't say what kind of drugs. For all we know, it could have been weed, and he smokes weed. He can tell you right now, all I could find in my system is weed and blah, blah, blah. Ha, 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 ha. Well, I mean, if it's okay for the goose, it's okay for the gander, right? But the thing is like, she's 30 something years old. You're probably coming after her for something she did when she was 14, 15 years old before getting into the military. But let's see. I remember, she never had CPS before. So again, I'm assuming baby was small when she entered the military.
Life together, start having children, and she's the precinct chair for the Republican Party. Very racist lady. She's spreading a bunch of lies online. Her and
If you've ever seen people randomly dancing in the streets of New York City, you might have come across this bus tour that's on TripAdvisor. And before you decide if this is
Jeff Metcalf. Now, most people don't know about Jeff Metcalf. Jeff Metcalf is a angry, violent, abusive, Caucasian man who used to beat Austin's mom. He was very abusive.
Again, there's no
with Mitch Nolte's
documentation
law
on that.
firm, and they
Then he
drugged
just
the
kinda
mom.
gets his credibility. He worked for this law firm, that law firm. I don't even know these people still kind of even do business with him or even around him or even want to deal with him. I mean, you can name drop all you want. Doesn't mean that name dropping is a good thing or a bad thing. Especially if you don't even deal with these people anymore or if they don't even want to deal with you. I don't understand like how none of these people just say, "Don't get my name out of your mouth. You did not work for me. You're giving me a bad reputation for." Because everybody that he mentioned, I would have been like, "Ew, you associate with him. Ew, you associate with him. Ew, you associate with him." Whatever.
But they're trying to debunk people from going to see the video.
And nobody's ever debunked trying to go see the video. The thing is that the video was released, but it wasn't released to the public like that. You can request to go in there and watch it. They'll let you watch it, but you can't record it. You can't, they won't rewind it. They're just going to run it once and say, "Hey, have a nice day." So if you miss anything or anything like that that hasn't already been reported, it's going to be a waste of time. It's not that it's trying to debunk the video. We're not debunking the video because even the news the news the news even states they didn't see an altercation before the actual incident happened. So they didn't see too much movement before this incident. It was straight people sitting down to straight chaos. So it's like, what are you talking about? Again, now that we know Sarah's history, he says a lot of things about her and her kids. Oh, let's see. I want to see if I can get to the part.
And somebody believed I did. And I really tried to. But when I went to court, I said, man, but I did. I just lied to him. And I had this pre-recorded. This ain't pre-recorded, but I had proof to back up my lie. Like you're fucking doing, Sarah. You're coming with false proof to back up a lie. I did the same thing and beat the felony charge against the animal cruelty. It's a great scheme for a defense team. I'm just great, Sarah. But when people know the truth, nobody knew my truth. Nobody could really prove that this was really mace in the can, Sarah. That's why the charge was fucking dropped. You know.
So my thing is like if he's so saying that because there's a lot of witnesses. There's over 30 something witnesses from teachers to students who saw what happened or who saw either what led up to it or the fatality of it. Either way, there are over 30 something witnesses. So to say that, oh, well, he didn't, there was no witness, there was no that, and that's why these people are going to get off and blah, blah, blah. My thing is how many witnesses are you going to pay off? That just sounds like you're going to be paying off witnesses. So that way there is no witnesses to come forward because the police report already says there's a bunch of witnesses, including three, I think, a couple of coaches and a teacher, or they were all coaches. I know that there was at least 3 or 4 adults. So now what happens to them, I don't know, because of course, the school district may say, "Hey, you wanted your job, you're gonna have to like look the other way," whatever. I don't know how many people are going to be pressured into that, but to say that, to give this story and that reference only kind of just makes me feel like, okay, how many people are you going to try to pay off as far as the witnesses on the witness list?
How I beat the 2 ag assaults? Because when I came out pointing the gun, nobody could see it on camera. But this here, Sarah, this is on camera. So let me break the footage down since nobody wants to see it and everybody's taking Sarah's word with this somewhat of a truth to support a lie. I'm good at taking some truth to support a lie when I get in trouble with white folks.
See, he admits that he's good at fooling people. So this whole this is another cover of the eyes. Like he's trying to fool you guys. He's literally telling you what a horrific person he really is. He really is. And he uses his satire comedy to get away with it. And this is pure evil. He's dangerous to society. He's a murderer. I don't know if he's a murderer. I shouldn't say that. I know he was convicted of murder or he went to jail for murder, but I don't know the actual details of his case. And frankly, I just think he needs to be locked up for some of the things he says because I don't think, again, South Park is So again, to use okay. So again, he uses a satire comedy, or I mean, whatever. I could say I'm using satire comedy. This is a part of my skit. I'm a beginner comedian. Let's see how well I roast your ass, Mister Fucked Up Eye. Oh wait, you had an accident when you were little, but yeah. Just kind of like how you went after Sarah Shaw when she was young, saying, "Oh, like let's she couldn't defend herself. Like start defending herself." Yeah, you. That's the kind of birds of the feather flock together. You and Drew are tight knit all of a sudden now, but you have the money to pay off because they're running out of money. Like I don't like you just like now you get the free you get the publicity, get paid, and then you're trying to save their asses. Like they think you're gonna give them money. I don't think so. I don't think you're gonna give them shit, and I don't think they should really give you shit for anything you do. But again, I don't understand how this person is so. I mean, I get it because people go. This is why when you don't like somebody, as far as like online or something, just don't entertain the fact because the more you go over there, the more you watch the video, you're actually giving them more money because they're getting paid by your views, by your likes, by your dislikes, by your what and reaction, your chat, your comments. He gets paid on that. So why are we like, oh, I hate you? Like, let me leave a comment to let you know how much I hate you while you're making money off of that comment, off of my comment telling me I like it makes no sense. I'm not gonna pay $6 for me to tell you that I hate you. I'm gonna go on my thing and say, oh no, I don't like you, I hate you. And then I'm gonna leave you alone so that way you're not earning money off of my hatred towards you. Like no, not going to. Not going to. Um So yeah, so now I'm just like I never heard of him until now. So apparently he wasn't as good at his job because unfortunately I only know of the real celebrities and real comedians and real actors and things like that. The one that actually are, you know, high in society, not somebody who uses other people. But anyway, others people's misery for their sense of humor. Again, South Park, I get it. At least sometimes their stuff is a little funny, but they don't go out saying, "I wish both people were dead. I wish this would have happened," or I would have done this and I would have done that." And then go back and say, "Oh, you know what? That was oh boy on South Park that said that. That wasn't me." Like I don't think I ever seen South Park go to the extreme as this fool does, and then use the word. I think he's everybody who does satire comedy should go after him because he's giving satire comedy a bad name.
It's easy to do when you know what you're doing, Sarah, and you kind of know what you're doing. Conniving over.
Shara.
Fucking conniving over. Lying under oath, I beat the charges. There's no such thing as double jeopardy. And by the way, I never went under oath. I let my lawyer talk for me. My Jewish lawyer. I don't say a word. I talk to the police. I tell the police what I want them to know. I let my lawyer talk in court paper. And by the way, they got enough money up out of me revoking my bonds for smoking marijuana because I wouldn't follow the court's order. I kept.
So wouldn't you call that a
pot.
drug addict? I mean, technically, literally, it's still illegal drug in most places. I don't know federally, is it? I don't remember, but I mean, at that time, I mean, you can say he was now. I guess you can say he's not an ex drug addict. He's obviously still consuming whatever he's consuming. We saw the evidence earlier, but I'll just keep that hush. And I'm sure if you look up back here in the back, you'll see some things, And then there's the reflection off the window and while he was outside talking about the beach. Yeah, that's.
You know why? Because I got money. I got money, baby. And by the way, I'm in character. I'm not really admitting to committing any crimes. This is satire comedy, shock jocking, dark humor. I am a highly paid comedian, so I get to come under my comedic umbrella and say what the fuck I want to say.
So he literally admits that he could do what he could say whatever he wants, he could do whatever he wants, and there will be no accountability whatsoever for his actions. And going by looking at some of the Wikipedia information that they have on him, where he gets arrested for kidnapping or whatever, holding people against their will, whatever it was, and then let me look it up so I'm not just spewing out bullshit here. Let's see. Okay. In March 2023, White was stopped by law enforcement after being accused of kidnapping women and holding them hostage with illegal firearms. With the FBI interviewing him and searching his mother's home as part of the investigation, White later said that they were able to track him through his Instagram Live, where he brandished a gun and delivered a racist rant directed at rapper China Mac and the Asian people. After the rant, White and DJ Academics' comedy show in New York City was canceled. So that was in 2023. Now, I don't, again, in October 2024. Oh, Tamara Wright was her name. In October 2024, Wright was arrested and charged with animal cruelty and 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, being accused of torturing a cat by pepper spraying it. In response, White posted a video addressing the charges, claiming the animal cruelty allegation was false and stating that he had purchased a gun to protect his wife. In February 2025, White was arrested in Texas on aggravated assault charges and was booked at a correction center in Fort Worth area, where he was held without bond. He was released a few days later and announced on Instagram Live that the charges had been dropped. So, as you may know, and then of course it goes, let's see what he was originally. It says, and experienced health challenges early in life. At age 14, White took a part in a robbery at a Foot Locker in Arlington, Texas, with a group of teenagers. They stole athletic jackets and were chased by a store clerk. As they attempted to flee, a man named Michael Levi approached them in a car to recover the stolen items. White and another teen, Antoine Doolittle, threw the jackets out of the car, after which Doolittle shot and killed Levy. And according to Charleston White words in this one, he told his friend to do it. And then White later testified against Doolittle and was convicted of murder for his involvement. Oh, and sent to a Texas. So he was convicted of murder. So therefore, you're a murderer. You were convicted of murder. You're a murderer. So a murderer supporting another murderer. That's all it is. And then he's going to try to use him because since he was a murderer and the only time he got to the only thing he was able to do was go to the law library in prison. That's what everybody does when they're in prison, like, or in jail. Like, that's the only thing to do is either work out or go to the law library. So, I mean, or go be part of the SD club, kind of club. So, there's really only 2 or 3 things for y'all to do up in there. So it wouldn't surprise me that, and most criminals do that are real or that are wanting to continue to do the crime will be the ones that are in the law library trying to figure out how to beat it next time they get in trouble and all the ways that they can beat the system. So that way they continuously to be criminals. Because again, even though he wants to claim that it's part of his skit and stuff like that, I mean, comedians use some of their real life stuff as part of their skit. I mean, everything this video gives a lot of insight to the true nature of this person. Because if he is willing to say, "Oh, I use satire comedy to say whatever the fuck I want to say," that means he's going to use satire comedy to get out of whatever charges he fucking gets into. Just like the kidnapping charges and the assault charges and the now I want to see. So again, a murderer protecting a murderer. Again, he is a convicted murderer according to Wikipedia, and it does say White later testified against Doolittle and was convicted of murder for his involvement and sent to a Texas Youth Commission facility. While he was in juvenile detention, his 17-year-old brother, Kev White, was convicted of murder and sentenced to 99 years in prison. I don't know if that was one of the people I looked up, but I'm gonna have to look up that because I was doing some research on him and his family, and yeah, they're all pretty messed up in the head. Anyway, um, genres: observational comedy, black comedy, and insult comedy. I don't see satire comedy on here. I see insult comedy, and then let's look up the word satire. Satire comedy. I'm sorry, guys. I keep forgetting that I'm not sharing. So this is what I was reading off of was the Wikipedia right here, where it says um, White later testified and was convicted of murder, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, it gives this legal history. So, yes, again, now let's look up the word satire comedy meaning. Let's share this tab and says satire is a general, satire is a genre of the visual, literary, and performing arts, usually in the form of fiction and less frequently non-fiction, in which vices, follies, abuses, let me just look it up. Abuses and shortcomings are held up to ridicule, often with the intent of exposing or shaming the perceived flaws of individuals, corporations, government, or society itself into improvements. But he's not improving anything. He's just telling people how to get away with murder. Although satire is usually meant to be humorous, its greater purpose is often constructive social criticism using wit to draw attention to both particular and wider issues in society. I don't think it says to threat or to wish ill upon or to say you will go and shoot up little white kids. Satire may also poke fun at popular themes in art and film. A prominent feature of satire is strongly irony or sarcasm. In satire, irony is militant, according to literary critic Northrop Frye. But parodies, burlesque, exaggeration, juxtaposition, comparison, analogy, and double entendres are all frequently used in satirical speech and writing. This militant irony or sarcasm often professes to approve of or at least accept as natural the very things that satirist wishes to question. Satire is found in many artistic forms of expression, including internet memes, literature, plays, commentary, music, film, and television shows, and media such as lyrics. Okay, well, now let's look up to see if satire could be used as a defense. Okay, so yes, satire can be used as a defense in certain legal cases, particularly those involving allegations of defamation or copyright infringement. So I know that's what Sarah was looking for, a lawyer because of the defamation and all this other stuff. But of course, we already heard him say, "This is a character. Yeah, it's a skit." Oh, my bad. I need to go like this. It's a skit. I shouldn't make fun of his ability, but I don't care. If he's making fun of people, I could say too. It's satire comedy, which you're fucked up by. Okay, that scares the shit out of me because you look fucking weird. Okay, so however, the effectiveness of this defense can depend on the specific circumstances and the type of legal claim. So, of course, defamation, satire by its nature, is a form of social commentary that uses humor. Okay, we already read that. This distinguishes from defamation, which requires a false statement of fact that harms someone's reputation. Copyright infringement, satire, and parodies can also fall under the fair use doctrine, which allows for the use of copyrighted material for purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, or research. The normal things. However, it is important to remember that the right to free speech is not absolute. So you can't just go to the airport and say bomb, okay? So you can't just get online and say, I'm looking for you, Sarah. I'm looking for you. So, however, it is important to remember that the right of free speech is not absolute and there are limitations on when satire can be used as a defense. For example, if a satirical work can be reasonably interpreted as factual assertion and causes harm, it could potentially lose its First Amendment protection and lead to successful defamation claims. While satire enjoys some protection under the fair use doctrine, that protection is narrower than it is for parody, according to the Lutzker website. In summary, satire can be a valid defense in defamation cases because it's typically understood as commentary and not a statement of fact. It can also be a defense against copyright infringement under the fair use doctrine. However, the success of its defense relies on various factors, including the context of the work, the likelihood of a reasonable person mistaking it for truth, like him saying that he will go to a daycare and murder all those innocent children. I can take as truth since he's already been convicted. He's already on paper a convicted felon. I mean, a convicted murderer. So that means I fail because I already know that you have the capability of murdering somebody, that you coming after Sarah and them, or me or anybody like that, we could feel threatened. And satire would not be used as a defense. However, the success of the defense relies on various factors, including the context of the work, the likelihood of a reasonable person mistaking it for truth, and the extent to which it transforms any copyright material use. So again, he is a danger to society, using satire to cover up your crimes, using satire to cover up your threats, using satire to cover up your defamation and commentary or whatever you want to use it is, and then you know what you are doing. You admitted knowingly saying I'm using this for satire just for the reason I won't get in trouble because what I'm saying I know is wrong, basically. If you got to say I'm doing this for a skit, you know what you are saying, that the things that are coming out of your mouth should not be said. Like, what? Fucking weirdo. Lay off the shit, yo. Lay off the shit. The dog shit. Really. Lay off the dog shit. Because that's exactly. So technically, you cannot threaten, you cannot go to the airport and say bomb and say this is part of a skit. So to a certain extent, yes, you may be technically right, but maybe you should have done a little further investigation because you literally said you will go up to a school, a daycare, if shit was to happen to you. Which means I take that for real because you're a convicted murderer. I believe wholeheartedly you are going to do that. That you are capable of doing it according to the rest of your history. Like, I feel wholeheartedly daycares all over this world are in danger because of people like you out on the street, admittedly saying you would go and shoot up a daycare and then think it's comedy on top of all that. No, not having it. Not having it. So anyway, again, for somebody who went through law school or whatever, thinking they know what they can say and say not, he will slip up. I have the whole 51 minutes recorded. So that way, if this was to ever get taken down, ever gets to be clipped up or whatever and used for whatever, I literally have it screen recorded as we were going through it the last time. Remember, we spent 4 hours on the live talking about almost 55 minutes of his video. So again, let's not do this, guys. With Drew talking to Sarah, going after Sarah, with Charles Wright going after Sarah, like, this is insane. And then they don't bring nothing. They talk about tool. What pocket knife? That wasn't even in the records. Saying Austin Metcalf died on fentanyl. That was already debunked. Let's go read those. Let's see. Let's bring up that article again. Let's go. False Karmelo news. Let's start sharing this tab. In the wake of the fatal stabbing at Frisco High School track meet, the CBS News Texas I-Team found a surge of misinformation has swept through social media platforms, causing confusion and fear. High-profile X accounts, including at End Wokeness and Libs off TikTok, quickly amplified the incident just hours after it occurred on April 2nd, claiming it received zero national outrage and didn't fit the narrative. These posts garnered nearly 50 million views. Fabricated details and fake Austin Metcalf autopsy report. Soon after, a fake X account posting as the Frisco police chief began disseminating fabricated details about the investigation. The next day, a fake autopsy report surfaced on Facebook, falsely claiming drugs were involved. This disinformation continued to spread with fake Instagram screenshots of guns, further fueling anger and uncertainty. The CBS News confirmed team, along with the law enforcement, confirmed these social media posts to be fabricated. While most misinformation posted online is not a crime, impersonating a police officer is. The Frisco Police Department, I wouldn't be surprised if Charleston White told him to do that. Police Department, along with the FBI, is investigating the fake X account that impersonated the police chief. Tracking down, yeah. So again, false claims that he put on there, saying it was a pocket tool when the police report said it was a knife. It didn't say utility tool. It didn't say pocket knife. It said knife. So it's just a lot of facts saying that Jeff Metcalf beat up his ex-wife. Like, I need to see hospital reports. I need to see what do you call them? Those stay away reports. What do you call them? Those well, you know what I'm trying to say. Those kind of, things. Like, I need to see documentation that Jeff Metcalf was really violent to his ex-wife. Just because she's an ex-wife doesn't mean like that was the reason. There's a lot of why people get divorced nowadays, and shoot, for all I know, Jeff Metcalf could have been a cheater, not a beater, maybe a cheater. We don't know. We don't know their personal history. It's the fact that they need to heal, and you're going after them. They just lost their child, and you're crying about their dad being an abuser, allegedly. Because yet you still haven't showed us proof about this. So again, there is a bunch of things that they put out there that is false. Regardless how much stuff they talk about Sarah Fields, she is putting out legal documents the legal way. She's not attacking Drew like Drew attacked her and her family. She is not wishing harm against their family. She's just wanting justice to be served. So she's not using satire comedy to send threats to send hatred, to send evil. She she's she is only doing reporting. She's just reporting. She's not like she's down there causing riots and things like that. She is just doing a job, which just happens to be her job in reporting. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like, between Drew, Dominique, and Charleston White, poor Carmelo Anthony. Poor Carmelo Anthony. Yes, I get it. He murdered somebody. He's already going to do time in prison. That was going to be his justice, but now you're putting his own life at risk while he's going to be in prison. Like, why would you do that to your child? You're supposed to be protecting your child whether they did something wrong or not. You're going to help make them hold responsible. Yeah, do your time, but you're not going to put them at risk of other of prison gangs calling for what was that thing that they said? White oh my gosh. I don't even know how to spell this shit. Okay, supremacists. Let's see. What is this? Okay. This was just the other day. It says, let me go ahead and share this tab. Close this out. I'm gonna share this real quick and then I'm gonna be gone because I gotta start cooking dinner for my kiddos. Murder trial of Frisco track meet stabbing suspect Carmelo Anthony set for 2026. The murder trial. Okay, what were we reading this on? Oh yeah. So I want to get to the court records indicate that his trial is scheduled for June 1st, 2026 in the 296th District Court in Collin County. Anthony told police shortly after his arrest that he acted in self-defense. The two teens had been involved in an argument about Anthony being under the wrong school's tent during the meet, according to an arrest warrant affidavit. Witness told police that Metcalf grabbed or pushed Anthony before Anthony stabbed him. Austin Metcalf was stabbed in the heart and died in the arms of his twin brother. His father, Jeff Metcalf, previously told the Star Telegram. Jeff Metcalf called the killing senseless and said the two teens didn't know each other. Okay, and it says breaking update. The Collin County District's office has officially indicted Karmelo. This is the first step to the legal process. This was back. That was Next Gen X on June 24th. Officials with NGA and have said that they are committed to ensuring a fair trial, free from outside influence, bigotry, and white supremacist attacks. Karmelo will have this day in court, not in the court of public opinion, the advocacy group said on June 24th on X. He will finally have the opportunity to present his self-defense claim in a real courtroom. Again, why are you going to throw the white supremacists underneath the bus like that? Really? Let's just make it worse for the poor kid while he goes in there. Whoa, they're not going to care. They're not going to care. And this is his lawyer right here that absolutely tells Dominique nothing. Absolutely tells nobody nothing. Like, what the heck? Okay, guys. Well, that is going to be it. I pretty much gave everybody the update. The updated court date for Karmelo is June 1st of 2026. So yeah. Again, Carmelo Anthony's team, Drew, his father, all his supporters, Dominique, Charleston White, they're using Charleston White comedy satire to bully, to bully, to bully, and to threaten. I'm just gonna put bully, but yeah, still sad. And my heart goes out to Sarah Fields. Again, my heart goes out to Sarah Fields. You stay strong. You take care. Please reach out to me if there is anything that you think I could do for you. Any contacts I may have, I will be more than welcome to share them with you. So please don't be afraid to reach out. Quick, I completely understand the whole veteran situation. I was in the military. I completely understand about having militaries and kids. I I get it. My sister married a Marine, so we know. So again, please be safe out there, Sarah. Be careful. Again, if you want to donate to the organization, please go to the QR code at the top or go to the link at the bottom. You're more than welcome to donate. You want to see the store, go down to the link at the bottom. Please purchase some Vivid Lifestyles merchandise. It'll help. It goes to a good cause for the abuse. We want to save the abuse and help them. These types of situations won't happen and victims won't be re-victimized. Okay. So again, thank you for being here. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I probably won't be on tomorrow. I got trip planning to do since I didn't really do anything today about it. So I got to finish that up because I do have to meet up with them within the next couple of weeks and make sure finalize details and get all that together. So again, please, 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 y'all stay safe. Spread the word, spread the word, spread the word, share the video, like the video. I was trying to get off before he called me. He was trying to call me on my phone, and that's my husband. I'm like, you're just telling me you're getting off. You're bothering me. Okay. All right, guys. Again, y'all be safe. Sarah. Y'all, please follow Sarah Fields on X. Please follow her on X. Please follow her on X. Show her some support. Show her some love. We as Texans, we all gotta stick together, and not allow murderers to get away with these type of things like Charleston White has for a very long time. So we definitely don't want Carmelo Anthony to pick up this bad habit. So definitely, let's keep them in our prayers. Please show them support as well as as long as jumpsuit along with jumpsuit Pablo, who's recording on this, along with Reckless, whose YouTube channels Jumpsuit Pablo, Reckless, and AG Tactical. They're all go show them support. They're all reporting on this one as well. Definitely want to get into that. Keep up to date. They do daily videos on this kind of stuff. So in between times of watching me, you're more than welcome to go support them. Please show them some awesome love. They do some marvelous things. Again, Jumpsuit Pablo gives a different point of view from his backstory and history. So it is always good to look at multiple people. Even though you might think that the information is the same, they might have a different outlook or different input on it. So definitely we all want to support Sarah. Again, keep her and her children in our prayers, in your prayers. Again, thank you, family, on my little pub hub. All right. Thank you for being here and joining me. West in Peace, as well as Rainbow Tasha. I'm so glad that you're able to find a Texas channel. I'm so glad I'm able to bring you all the updates and news. Again, I'm still following the flood. I know the last time it was in New Mexico, and I know it's starting to spread. So I know it's no longer local, but we're gonna still try to track it as much as possible because it's such a sad thing. Mother Nature just coming in with a blast. So we want to keep those all those kids in our prayers as well. So definitely look out for that. Okay. So I will be back. If not tomorrow, definitely, let's see, it's a weekend. So maybe Sunday or Monday. So I may take a couple of days off. I don't know. Some of these stories are starting to become depressing. I did have another baby story. That's a 4-month-old baby story that lost his life. So that's coming up. I want to get a few more updates before presenting that. So hopefully by either Sunday or Monday, I should have that story going. Try to get back into the abuse and the kids and things like that, as well as continue covering, other things that you are interested. So feel free, Rainbow, just continue to send out stuff that you want me to kind of cover or whatever that might be interested in you, to you. I'm more than welcome to take a look at it and do a quick research and get that information out to you guys. I'm pretty sure you guys are probably at work 8 to 5 and listening on your headphones during lunch. So, or throughout the day. So, and no problem, Rainbow. So, thank you for supporting. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. So, again, I'm done for today, guys. So, hopefully you were able to get all the information. Again, don't forget, please keep Sarah in your prayers, and don't forget to follow her as well on X. Thank you for being here. You guys have a wonderful day, and don't forget, pinkies up.